Hi friends, it's me, Lisa, with Hand Lettered Design, and I am here to do Mental Health Monday. And today we are talking letting go of perfectionist expectations. So first of all, if I'm a little out of breath, I'm just pregnant. I'm just 7 months pregnant, and so I'm sorry. I feel like I'm out of breath all the time just walking across the room. So here we are. And I really want to just kind of address this topic a little bit. I think it's something that a lot of people deal with. I actually got a message last week from someone asking about this topic, and they were just talking about how do I get away from the mindset that it has to be, something needs to be perfect or else it's a failure. And how do I kind of start to have a different mindset? Because they can tell that thinking that way is making them feel depressed, and it's not helping. It's not feeling good. And then they asked about how can I be content without meeting my own expectations? How do I become comfortable with different expectations? How do I give myself space and grace to be mortal? So I think a lot of people deal with this, and I know that I totally have. So I'm going to talk about it, and if it helps even one of you, then I hope that then it's worth it to me. So anyway, the first thing that I wanted to address was thinking about like not meeting our own expectations and how frustrating that can be. And it's like, why do we have the expectations in the first place? Just thinking about that. Like, why do we have these expectations of ourselves? So I'm not talking about expectations of other people today, just of ourselves. And I've talked a lot about how I've been super hard on myself in the past and really mean in my mind to myself. But honestly, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was being a good person. I thought I was trying to have high expectations. I thought that's what we were supposed to do. I thought we were supposed to try to be good and kind and productive and successful and achieve. I thought that that's what we were supposed to do. And for me, I can't speak to this particular person who asked this question, but for me in the past, having those expectations was me trying to be a good person. I thought that doing, achieving, succeeding at different things equaled being a good person and being a worthwhile person, an important person. Honestly, I just wanted to be a good person. And so for me, like having high expectations for myself, I thought it was a really good thing. Looking back, I can see that I believed that I needed to meet these expectations in order to be validated as being a good human, a worthy human. And so for me, not only was I trying to get validation from myself, but validation from other people. Like it really mattered to me that other people also thought that I was a good person. So that's kind of my first thing, is thinking about why do we have these expectations of ourselves, and what do we expect? I mean, what are we hoping to get out of them? Like when we meet these expectations, what do we think is going to happen? So for me in the past, I used to think that I was trying to be a good person. And the truth is that nothing that I could do or check off a list was going to make me any more worthy or good enough as a human. I really believed that doing all these things was really important for me to be able to feel better. So having those expectations was important. But I really did think like achievement equaled being a good person. And so checking things off a list, getting to the end of my goals, those kinds of things helped me feel like, okay, I'm important, I'm good enough. And so the biggest way for me to combat this perfectionist need to meet these expectations was to realize that I'm already good enough. I'm already important. I'm already worthy. I was born with that worthiness. Like, I can't change it. I am an important human being because I exist. I can't change that. And trying to do all these things to be able to become more important or feel better about myself or feel more validated, they don't change my worth at all. So that's the main thing for me in combating this perfectionist drive that we have to meet all of these expectations, is realizing that I'm not becoming more important. I'm not becoming better than anyone else. I'm not worse than anyone else. We are all important and worthy as humans. And so then it's like, okay, so if achievement doesn't matter, then why do I do anything? I can just lay in bed all day and I'll be worthy and whatever. And it's because the experience as a human of contributing to the world is a great experience. But that experience of like thinking about how I can contribute versus trying to meet unrealistic expectations to get validation is a totally different experience. So when I think about how I want to use my gifts and talents to contribute to the world, I am not so concerned about whether or not it's exactly perfect or if I am really good at it or whatever. I am concerned about putting something out there that's going to bless somebody's life. When I'm concerned that I need to meet an expectation so that I look a certain way, so that people view me a certain way, so that I view myself a certain way, so that I feel important, so that I feel accomplished, all of those things make me feel totally depressed and terrible, okay? And I've done that, and I've been there, and I've done that. And so shifting to, number one, coming from a place of worthiness and knowing that God loves me and that I am enough already, just how I am, is huge. And then when I decide from there that I want to contribute something to the world, it doesn't matter if it's perfect, because I just want to give. And we live in an imperfect world where nothing's perfect. And it's completely unrealistic to expect that we could be perfect or that even our efforts could be perfect, because we live in an imperfect world. And so for me, just knowing, like, if I get something out there, then I get something out there. Like today, I don't have the perfect things to say about this topic, but I have experienced it. And so will I say it perfectly and blah, blah? No, but I'm going to just share what I have, because if it blesses one person, it's worth it. And it's not about people looking at me thinking, oh, she's amazing. I don't have expectations of my own to meet about this. I'm trying to put something out into the world. So that's another thing, is just remembering that it's not about us. And so meeting expectations, it changes for me how I see meeting expectations, because I'm not trying to meet anything. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to even impress myself. I'm just living in a place where I feel really good about who I am, and I feel inspired to share something, and so I do. And that is kind of just what helps me to let go of this perfectionist expectation of how I should be performing, how I should be living. Because again, number one, I know that productivity does not equal success. Productivity or achievement or checking things off does not make me a better person. It doesn't make me more important. It doesn't make me more loved. It doesn't make me more enough of anything. I already am all of those things. And so, I mean, a lot of people will feel like they're very successful people and then they have everything taken away. All the things that they used to do, they can't do anymore. Maybe their health takes that away from them. And then they're really forced to figure out, okay, if I'm not all of these things, then what am I? And if you can get to that place and really realize that you're worthy and that you're important and that you're loved, no matter what expectations you do or don't meet, it's kind of a valuable experience. Because you're forced to understand, like, okay, even if I'm laying in bed all day and can't get everything done that I used to do, I'm still important, I'm still loved, I'm still worthy. And so now, instead of having these unrealistic expectations of myself, I'm coming from a place where I feel totally loved, and it takes time and effort and to get there. But once I get there, then when I want to put something out into the world, it's from a totally different place. It's not from a place of needing validation. It's not from a place of needing everyone else to have a view of me that I am a certain way, or even for myself to have a view of me that I can do things a certain way. It's because I want to learn and I want to progress and I want to be someone who I just want to contribute to the world. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that is helpful to anyone, but I'm putting it out there anyway. And I'm actually going to try to hop on to my regular stories, not the live, onto my regular stories so that I can do a swipe up link to a podcast about perfectionism that's really, really good. If perfectionism is something that you kind of struggle with, it's with Dr. Jennifer Finlayson-Fife and Monica Packer from About Progress podcast. And I mean, Dr. Finlayson-Fife just tells it like it is. She says some things that you're like, wow, I didn't realize perfectionism was so selfish. It feels like it feels like it's important. It feels like I'm trying to be a good person. But really, it's trying to live at this unrealistic level of perfection that's just not, it's just not realistic for anyone. So that's right. If you're someone who knows your worth, you don't need permission from anyone. You can just give and love and serve, and it feels so much better. Living in a perfectionistic state of mind and trying to live up to that all the time, heck yeah, that's going to put you into depression. Like, it's completely unrealistic, and it's not ever going to make you happy. And guess what? It doesn't make anyone around you happy either. Have you noticed? You think, oh, I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to do really good things. When I was doing that, it wasn't making anybody happy because I would get frustrated with myself all the time. I was so hard on myself, and I had to really stop and look at my thoughts and see how I was talking to myself. I was not coming from a place of compassion. I was not coming from a place of love. And my husband couldn't stand it. He would be like, why? No, I don't care if you do that really well. I don't care if you make a mistake. I don't care. Like, other people don't care. They don't care. So why do we care? We're trying to get this weird validation and we don't realize that we're doing it. This is the thing. If you are like, okay, I am a perfectionist and I get this, then don't feel bad. I don't want you to feel bad, because when you are living in that perfectionist way, you don't think it's selfish. You don't think it's because you're scared. You don't think it's because you don't understand your worth. You think it's because you're trying to be a good person. You think it's because you're trying to do good things. But you may have noticed it causes you a lot of stress, and it causes the people around you a lot of stress and not a lot of joy. It's not worth it. So here's my plea to you. Let it go. Realize that you are already loved. You are already enough. And that when you come from that place of knowing that you're already awesome and you don't need to do anything to be awesome, you don't need to achieve anything to be awesome, you don't think you're doing it to be awesome. You think you're doing it to be just a good person. But you already are a good person. You already are worthy. You can't change that. So just realize you cannot change it. You cannot become better or worse by all these things that you're doing. So let it go and decide that you want to use your gifts and talents to bless the world, and that can be done in a totally imperfect way because we live in a totally imperfect world. And that's okay. So I often also talk about Brooke Castillo from the Life Coach School. I am a part of her life coaching program. I think she's awesome. And she always talks about your goal should be to put out B- work into the world. B- work. That's the goal. The goal is B- because you're not going to overthink it. You're just going to get it out there. And the world just needs it. The world just needs what you're going to put out there. Like today, I could have thought a lot more about what I was going to say and how I was going to do this. And I've got my toddler downstairs and I'm like going to go back down there. And, you know, it's like she might come up. Oh, well, like it's all good because otherwise I wouldn't do it. And if it helps even one person, it's totally worth it. But I don't have like perfect lighting. I feel like it's dark. Who cares? It doesn't matter because you're not going to help anybody if you're waiting for it to be perfect. It's selfish. It's kind of selfish. It doesn't seem, you don't think it's selfish, but it's kind of selfish, you guys. And I'm saying that because I've been there, okay? I thought all the same things. I thought I'm doing this because I want it to be the best and I want it to be good for people. And I want to be, you know, I just want to be a good person. And really, it was kind of selfish because I thought I needed to do all these things to be seen as a good person and to be validated. And no, it doesn't matter. So instead, I get totally vulnerable and authentic on here and tell you that my life is so imperfect and I'm so imperfect and it's okay. And we can all just do this thing together. So that's my thing for you today. If you're someone who thinks I'm a perfectionist, yes, just like you said, because I thought I was being a perfectionist because I care so much. I always thought that too. I just thought I'm just doing it because I want to be a good person. But really, it keeps us from the good stuff of just putting stuff out there and realizing it's not about us. It doesn't have to be. And really taking like a honest look around at, is it making us happy? Is it making the people around us happy? Stuff like that. So, oh, you're so nice. Sometimes I wonder if I should keep doing Mental Health Monday. So thank you for telling me that. Thank you for validating me. I'm just kidding. But it is nice to know if it helps someone because that's why I do it. Honestly, even if it just helps one person, it's so worth it for me because I've been there. I've struggled, I've had the anxiety, I've had that like, pit in my stomach of wanting everything to be just right, and it's not just right, and I'm not just right, and my kids aren't just right. My life's a mess, okay? Like, my life's normal. It's not like any messier really than anyone else's. It's just, I just am not afraid to show it, maybe. But like kids are not going to live up to our perfectionist ideas. And then what? And then we're like frustrated with them all the time? No. It's way better to drop the expectations. But expectations of other people is a whole different Mental Health Monday. We will do that too at some point. Okay, so I'm going to hop over to do a couple stories just so that I can link to that podcast and stuff. It's really good. And then if you will go back to my last post, I put letting go of perfectionist expectations. Leave any thoughts you have. I'm going to go back there and just kind of add some little bullets from just different things that I said in some of the comments that were shared and stuff. And then we'll keep it going. But yeah, leave some comments there. My boss is a perfectionist and she's always stressed and spreading her negativity. Not cool. See? It's not cool. We think we're helping, but it's really not. Speaking of things going differently, hi. Do you want to come say hi? Okay.
Go somewhere else.
She wants to go somewhere else. This is my 3-year-old. Okay. Thank you.
I'll go somewhere else.
Okay, let's go somewhere. Okay, there we go.
Color.
Thank you for being here, guys.
Color.
Let's color. Okay.